store the collected personal data or in use in process personal data forever? Do you want to do it, or should you legally do it? Let's explore that and discuss that in this video of storage limitation. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on privacy, and we are going to talk about storage limitation today. What storage limitation is exactly? It's saying that you need to retain the data only till the time it is required, and you have to give a definition of required. For some regulators, they have given definitions. For some sectors, there are definitions. DPDP Act has given definition to e-commerce. Customer not responding for 3 years, you can delete his data. But what about others? You define it. You will define it by saying, I am collecting the data for this purpose. The purpose should be finished in 6 months, and I retain the data for another 3 months. Right? So, ideally, you are saying 9 months, but actually you are saying 3 months after the completion of the project. So, you are keeping yourself safe so that the project overruns, then it should not be that now you cannot use the data. Right? But once the purpose is completed, you are either going to archive it safely by encrypting or anonymizing it so that no one can take it away or read it and misuse it, or you delete it permanently and properly. Right? So why does this matter? It matters because there are 3 kinds of big risks here. A, breach, and it would happen always, and I have a complete playlist on this which is called shadow data. You have the data that you are not using, and over a period of time, since you have not even deleted it, you stop focusing on it. I know so many organizations where 10-year, 15-year-old data is lying. Today's management does not even know what the data is, but there are PIIs, right? So there is a risk of breach, more compromised because of being old data and out of focus. There is a privacy compliance risk, there is a legal risk, and everything would come up with reputation as well as cost. Ethical consideration in a sense that you promised you will delete it after 3 months of finishing of purpose. Are you now saying that the purpose is not over the last 5 years? Or are you now saying that, well, everything is over, I forgot to delete? Right? And then your operational efficiency. You keep deleting, purging old data. Even if you have the permission to archive and anonymize, you keep it on a low cost storage, maybe object storage on the cloud with all security norms. And if you are keeping it on-prem without deleting it, then also you can keep it on low cost risk. But the idea is that if it is not required, why are you not deleting it? Why are you carrying all these risks and consuming your resources also for retaining it? The common violations that we have seen, businesses keep data for a long period. Even after a relationship or the purpose is over, they want to keep the data. What for? They may have to refer it someday. Especially data like these job applicants. The HR does not realize that if you call the same candidate after a year, his job experience would definitely change. His knowledge also should change. Skill set, some skill set should be added. And there is a probability of his personal information also getting changed. In any case, in any old data, at least the change of address is very much possible. Maybe even if it is only for 10 to 20% people, the data becomes useless for you and you are keeping it for no reasons. Keeping email backups which have personal information and they are there in the backup file. Why all this violation happens? Because organizations do not define a retention period for the data. Indian DPDP Act says that fiduciaries cannot and must not retain data forever. It has to be deleted once the purpose is met, until there is a legal obligation or any other regulation that forces you to store it. For example, a hospital PII, maybe a patient has not come to you for the last 3 years and you should delete it. However, HIPAA says any patient data has to be there for 10 years. Right? So you need to retain it for HIPAA. Storage minimization and data minimization and storage limitation are interlinked. How are they interlinked? You are collecting minimum data, so your resources are still optimized, breach risk area is reduced, and you are storing it only for a given period of time. further taking care of both of these parameters in terms of the broad range of possibilities of risk, breach risk, as well as optimization of your resources. You should always maintain a record of all the interactions and responses so that you are well aware and ready for any kind of regulator meetups or compliance checks. Recommendation: you should define a retention period at the time of defining the purpose of collecting the information. Your principal should know that after the end of the project, when would this data get deleted or for how much time. As a best practice for storage limitation, you should define retention policies. It could be different for different categories. For example, I would say, why do you want to retain HR resumes? So maybe still, if you want it for some period, keep a retention period of only 6 months. If you're going to delete from databases, the retention period could be 5 years, 3 years. So data that stores in databases, the ERPs and the CRMs could be having a different retention period. Prefer automatic deletion or anonymization. There are a lot of tools which will delete old data automatically, lot of tools which will archive and anonymize old data automatically depending on the retention period you have defined. Audit regularly as to what is being retained in your organization and why is it retained, so that you can justify if at all it has gone beyond the defined retention period. Maintain a complete log of data disposal, and your deletion methods should also be very, very safe. Right? It should not be that you just delete it just like that. I have a tool that follows around 45 different international certifications that ensure that if you use these standards of deleting or formatting the disk, the data is not recoverable from the disk, and that's a very important topic that people need to take care of. So that's about storage limitation. I hope you like the content of the video. Please press the bell and the like icon, subscribe to my channel, and share your feedback in the comment section.